My kids have been stealing chocolate chip from the pantry, and I thought, let's make some chocolate chip cookies with walnuts before the chocolate chips are all gone. And trust me, these cookies will be gone in no time too, because they are so delicious and they're just so good. I can already smell it and taste it in my mouth. So we are not going to make these cookies little cookies, but we are going to make it in a sheet pan. So they're going to be like little cookie bars, and they're just so good. So let me go and tell you what we need for this recipe. Now, I will leave the ingredients and their measurements in my description box. Make sure you check that out, because when you're baking, you need to be a little precise with your measurements. So for this recipe, we would need 2 1/4 cups of all-purpose flour, 2 eggs, 2 heaping cups of chocolate chip. You can put in more. I'll probably land up putting more. 1 cup of sugar, 2 sticks of unsalted butter, a good amount of walnuts. Now, if you're allergic to nuts, I would say leave it out, of course. But if you're not, I would highly recommend you put the walnuts. You can put in pecans too, or hazelnuts, but the walnuts are the best. 1 teaspoon of baking soda, some vanilla, and I like to add some coffee powder. This is just regular instant coffee powder to my chocolate recipes, because it elevates the flavor of the chocolate, and a pinch of salt. Now I am going to use a disposable sheet pan, because as you all know, I have lost all my regular ones, and I love baking, and I land up taking desserts to my friend's place, and by the time they remember, I have forgotten they are mine, or by the time I remember, they have forgotten they are mine. So that way I've lost all of them, so I'm left with the disposable ones, and they work out just fine. I think they are better. So first we are going to start with creaming the butter and the sugar. So you need to have the butter softened, and we are going to cream the butter and the sugar together. I'm going to grab a bowl, and we're going to start creaming the butter and the sugar, and I'm going to move this without breaking the egg. So I'm just going to use my hand mixer to cream the butter and the sugar. You can use a stand mixer if you have that, but I'm just going to use a regular hand mixer. Now you won't be able to do it with a whisk, because it's going to be a little difficult, or with a spatula. So, but if you want to, go ahead and use a whisk. So to cream the butter and the sugar, and this is what it should look like. Now you can go ahead and use brown sugar too, but I like to use the granulated sugar, because it gives it a little bit of crunch. Now into that, we are going to add in our 2 eggs and cream that too. I mean, have you ever wondered how they break the egg with like one hand, and like, I've never been able to do that. So once we have mixed up our eggs and butter and sugar, this is what it should look like. Into that, we are going to put in our vanilla. Now, you guys already know I do not measure my vanilla. I'm just going to put like maybe the whole thing. Vanilla is good. I'm just going to mix that again. Now that our butter and sugar mixture is like nicely creamed, we are going to go ahead and make our dry ingredients. Mix up our dry ingredients. So into that, I am in my flour, I'm going to put in my coffee powder and just a pinch of salt, not too much though. We're going to put 1 teaspoon of baking soda. Give that a mix. Into that, I'm going to add in my chocolate chips and our walnut. Now you can add the chunks, or you can just break them. Now these are like halves, walnut halves. I'm just going to roughly just break them into like little ones. Not like too much. You don't need to crush it or anything. Just like roughly just break it with your hands. I think that's enough. And we are going to mix our dry ingredients with our wet ingredients. So for this, I'm going to use a spatula. I'm just going to give this a mix. I'm just going to start by putting little dry into the wet and start mixing that. Now this is going to be a pretty thick batter, almost like a thick paste, but you will just have to work through it. So it took us some arm grease to get that together, because that's what it will be. It will be like a very, very thick dough. So you will just have to work it through. Once it's all nicely mixed up, we are going to put it in our pan. It's all nicely done now, that coffee and vanilla together, and oh my gosh, it smells so good. So we are just going to put this in a sheet pan, oopsie, and spread it out. Now this is a tried and tested recipe that I've found. Like we tried it out, we tested it with different amounts of flour, egg, and this turned out to be the best. So rightfully, I can call this my own recipe. Again, this might take you a little bit of arm workout to spread it out, but it's all going to be worth it. Dunk it in a cup of cold milk. That wasn't too bad. So we are going to put it in our oven, which is already preheating at 350 degrees. Always remember when you're baking to preheat your oven. That's the first thing you should be doing. Preheat your oven, guys. So that didn't take us too long. So we're going to spread that out nicely. Now if you want, you can put in some cocoa powder on top, some more chocolate chips on top, some mix of cocoa powder and coffee on top, but I'm just going to leave it like that. And it will go into my oven, which is again preheating at 350, and we are going to bake it for a good 10 to 12 minutes max, or if it depends on the temperature of your oven and where you live. So just put a toothpick and see if it comes out clean. Now it shouldn't come out all the way clean, but your top should be a little bit of golden and it should come out pretty clean. I'm going to show you. So let's put this. In it goes for 10 to 12 minutes, and I'll see you after that. Been like 12 to 15 minutes, and we are going to peek into it. Our cookie walnut bar is ready. So it is ready, and it is ready. So this is a very, very simple recipe, and it smells divine in here. I can't wait to dive in and eat it with a dollop of ice cream, like vanilla ice cream, or some cold milk. Try it out. I'm telling you, you will not regret it. It's worth all the calories. And don't forget to subscribe if you already have not, and press the bell icon for more notifications. Make this, try this out, leave me a comment. Enjoy!